Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte once said, "If the earth were a single state, Constantinople would be its capital." Our campaign is Horror on the Orient Express, and this is episode 69. I'm your game master, and Thomas McKeon tonight will be giving our recap. So onward to the Golden Horn. The players are ready. Let's begin our journey into the darkness. Thomas?
Thanks, Tom. It all began in London. 5 investigators from Arkham, a convention, and what they thought was a time for celebration. But that all changed. The ancients called it the Sedevkar Simulacrum, a tool or a weapon created with dark intent. It said dread and despair follow it wherever it is, and that whoever controls it could possibly destroy the world. Throughout the centuries, humans and other beasts built religions that worshipped the idol as a vestige of destruction. Some hoped to hide it, some hoped to destroy it, some hoped to wield it. One of these ancient factions is called the Skinless Cult, and it is them who are to blame for this cursed voyage into the unknown. After the attempted murder of Professor Smythe and his manservant Beddoes by the cult, it became clear to the original 5 investigators something was coming. For some reason, the cult was becoming more active, and the Sedevkar Simulacrum needed to be destroyed. Smythe begged them to finish the work he began, return the object to where it was birthed, the Black Mosque, and destroy it, no matter the cost. Text spoke of how the Sedevkar Simulacrum was once separated into 6 pieces, each representing a different limb of the body. They were hidden, scattered throughout Eurasia centuries ago. But the artifact was not forgotten. The inky tendrils of the Skinless Cult stretched over all of Europe, weaving their way into its upper class, its politics, its underground. They're everywhere, and normal people are just too blind to see it. Aboard the Orient Express, our heroes traveled, landing in each city, collecting the pieces and sacrificing themselves for their sanity. Throughout this journey, from Paris, France, to Constantinople, there have been 9 of these heroes. Only 4 remain. Those 4 traversed the dreamlands, fought their fears, faced a dreaded baron, battled fierce, twisted abominations, saved innocent's life, and destroyed the man that may have started this all, the dreaded Nosferatu Count Fenelek. What started weeks ago will soon end. Like a cancer growing in their bellies, our 4 heroes, Frank, Eldridge, Elizabeth, and Theodore, feel the anxiety and fear of what's to come. As they sit in their sleeping cars aboard the Orient Express, they sit in silence, waiting. Nothing can prepare them for what they'll discover in Constantinople. And what will they discover, listeners? The truth.
Would you be surprised if I said that almost everything you said was wrong? No, I'm just joking.
I'd be a little confused.
No. That would be a complete red herring if I said that. All right. So you will arrive tomorrow at Circassi Station in Constantinople at 12:30 p.m. I don't need to say in the afternoon. That's when 12:30 p.m. happens. All right. What would you like to... It's late in the evening, but you can't help but feel a sense of relief. Did I give you any sanity back for killing? No. Go ahead and roll 1d6 and give yourself sanity back for the fact that you destroyed the vampire. Count Fenelek.
All right.
In the morning, you feel a bit refreshed. at least you know you're about to enter finally the last leg of this journey. You have 2 tasks ahead of you. You need to locate the scrolls that will tell you what to do, and you will need to locate the location of where to destroy the Sedefkar simulacrum. So, what do you do?
I guess I look at my compatriots and I say what I think everyone's thinking, which is, Fenwick said that he's been killing the skinless cult members, that he's been protecting us. I expect we're going to find a lot of resistance here, seeing as how this is sort of their hub.
Do they know we're coming? I'm sorry.
No, carry on.
I was just going to say, do they know we're coming to Constantinople?
Well, I think that if they've been following us ever since the beginning and Fenwick's just been killing them off, I think that they know that we're here.
Wait, can someone remind me, are we supposed to meet someone here?
I don't believe so. Tom, was there something mentioned about constant? I know that we have to stop and get a telegram, but that's it.
No, there was nobody on your list that you were supposed to meet here.
Okay.
Hopefully, Smythe has left a telegram that can point us in a direction.
The last clue from Beddoes: the only sure way to destroy the statue is in its original home, a place in Constantinople known as the Shunned Mosque. A ritual to destroy it utterly is included in a set of documents known as the Sedefkar Scrolls.
So find the scrolls, find the mosque. I look to the 2 scholars of the group. I said, can you think of some place that they may be? Or we can at least start?
Well, you have one of the scrolls, remember?
Yes, we have one, but we don't have the other ones.
Well, there must be a relevant authority in written artifacts of that period, or a museum that would handle things like that.
Do we know when the scrolls were dated?
No. And I don't think something like that will be found in a temple or library. I'll pull out the map for Constantinople. By me pulling it out, I mean pull up the map for everybody, our viewers included.
The map from the travel guide? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So 9 is where we're going to be staying in Para.
How?
Yes, the Para Palace Hotel is probably been mentioned more than once on this trip by staff of the Orient Express. It's I'm not sure whether it's owned by the same company, but it's definitely affiliated with. It's considered one of the most luxurious hotels, and it's It's very famous. It's the one that Agatha Christie talks about in her writings.
Well, I see that we have the Imperial University. Maybe there's some.
I was thinking about that.
Maybe there's some. I don't know, writing or something that just mentions the Sedevkar simulacrum. What do all of you think?
Yes,
This is the university.
Now, one thing to note about Constantinople is that the city was built before the advent of automobiles. That almost the entire city is untraversable by vehicle. It's not a huge city, but I mean it's a fairly large city, but it's mostly foot traffic. And they probably have little almost like rickshaws, little carts or horse-drawn things to drive you around where you need to go. But most of it is foot traffic. There's a few main roads where there might be cars, but for the most part, it's a tight, convoluted, twisty little city. Beautiful city. But getting around will take some time. You recall also from your previous readings that the same thing was encountered by the characters from the other stories that you read, that there was some difficulty getting around the city in a quick manner.
Well, I don't know why, but I'm drawn to the Topkapi Museum. That's the museum of the sultans, if I'm correct.
It's part of the Topkapi Palace and harem.
Yeah. So I don't know why, but I have a gut feeling. I don't know if it's going to lead to anything, but
It says part mosque, part palace, part treasure house, part place of learning. I mean, that sums it up pretty well.
so what do we do?
There's also the Blue Mosque. I would think maybe I'm wondering if maybe we could find the location easier than we could find the scrolls.
Probably. We'll have the instructions on how to destroy it.
Yeah.
Well, and a place like the Shunned Mosque, people are going to avoid it. The Black Mosque, the Shunned Mosque, people are going to avoid that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still need the map?
I guess you could take it down unless other people need it.
I'm good. I have a copy.
I'm so tired.
Anything you want to discuss over breakfast?
Well, it was just a thought, but do it. Like, sorry, there's some snoring going on here. It's just a thought, but do we know that I mean it's not going to be called the Shunned Mosque, is it? Or is it? I mean, they might not know it as the Shunned Mosque if it is shunned. It might just be known as the Old Mosque on Feather Street.
But maybe there's like some sort of superstition about it. Like, is there a mosque that is haunted or a mosque that people don't go to?
I'm wondering. I was wondering whether it might be one of the locations that was mentioned in the La Imaginita Diablo.
I was wondering if I could do a roll on religious customs.
Sure.
See if would I be using a cult for that or history?
Religion is a cult.
Okay.
No offense to anybody who argues with that, but a cult just encompasses anything that's metaphysical.
All right, I got a 56 out of a 68.
What's your question?
Normally traditionally keep it in, I guess, a shunned or cursed mosque. Would that be down from generation to generation?
I'm sorry, I only got part of your question. What was it?
Oh, sorry. Okay, so would it be a tradition for Muslims to pass information on a cursed mosque generation?
Not necessarily. Mosques, just like churches, probably have their heyday, and then if the neighborhood goes bad, people stop going there, and eventually it just falls into disrepair. And so it might just be something that people ignore now.
Okay.
But it's hard to. There's no religious tradition about that.
Okay.
There are Christian traditions that if a church is actually consecrated, that the church has to be razed to the ground. It can't just be turned into something. When the Turks took over Constantinople from the Christian Greeks, the Byzantines, they turned churches into urinals, which just to make them to insult the Christians. Conversely, when the Greeks got their independence from Turkey, they turned the mosques into urinals.
Humans.
Okay. So I'll let you guys know about that interesting bit of lore.
Can I also bring up can we make some sort of arrangements for Rupert?
Yes, I was thinking I should really write a letter to Professor Smythe explaining what's happened.
I mean, I don't necessarily mean to go backwards. I feel like we went through a lot and we didn't really talk about any of it. So,
well, you can talk about it now. You did stop in that small town. You were questioned by the police. The bodies were taken off the train. Obviously, all you had of Rupert was his head.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Elizabeth has that in her trunk now. She's keeping that to talk to and keep her company at night. No, sorry, I'm being silly.
What's a grotesque suggestion?
How much sanity loss did you have? Because that might be in a realm of possibilities.
Well, didn't we do the sanity loss when all that horror happened? I think we did. You guys have seen so much horror so far, you're inured to part of it. Maybe it'll all hit you when you're finally back home in your beds in Arkham.
Well, there's a nice little asylum for us there.
Yeah.
There is. Be friends with the Joker. Different universe.
What was our friend's name back in France? Paul? You want to remember?
Your translator friend?
He was like an orderly at the insane asylum, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
I think it was Paul.
That was at Charenton Asylum?
Yeah.
I thought it was a hospital, but yeah, I guess.
Well, it is technically a hospital. But it's also a place for the mentally ill. Ancient, very, very, and not ancient, a few hundred years old.
Hmm.
And as you recall, it's the place where they took Fenelick when they arrested him.
Well, probably if we stopped at that small town, I would assume you could have gotten word out to. Oh no, you can't. We can't contact Smythe.
Right.
But at least his family.
It's
That's
possible that it could be possible that we run into Smythe and Bellows.
Yeah, he might be waiting for us.
I don't like that.
But I say you do if they're there. But I'm thinking we could really would like to stop at an institution of higher learning before I step into an institution of faith. Sort of to drown myself out a bit. To go to the university, the Imperial University, before we go to the. If that's what we're planning to do.
Sure.
Find news of the scrolls or something like that. Find pinpoint the location that we're looking for.
Mm-hmm. That works for me. Although, based on our previous history, we don't have a lot of luck in finding information. But we weren't searching Constantinople either.
It's not here. It doesn't exist.
Okay. So the train travels on, and as you approach noon, you're coming into, you're seeing more and more villages, towns. The train, the rail approach to Constantinople is one of the most spectacular in the world. The train sweeps all the way around the city, around the coast, past the remains of the old walls, past the ancient hippodrome and the former palace and hall. Finally, the Simplon Orient Express pulls into the Circesi station at 12:30 p.m. Your 2,000-mile journey has finally come to an end. The train becomes quite active. Porters coming in, getting boxes, getting bags, getting things. Stuff that's in the foregone is being unloaded. People are all sort of pushing their way out of the train. You can see as you're walking along, if you're vacating your cabins now, that outside it's a sea of people in every color of the rainbow, every costume you can imagine. People from all over Europe, people from all over Asia. It's a cosmopolitan city like no other city in the world. It's noisy, it's smoky, it's there's a haze everywhere, but it's vibrant and it's alive. You can see animals. The only place that's probably even more manic would be the bazaar, the Grand Bazaar, which is a huge acres and acres and acres of shops and things like that. Now, you tell me what you're going to do. You're still on the train, but you're making your way to the exit to get off.
Here's another I'm sorry. You go first this time.
Well, I think we should find some transport and get to our hotel as soon as possible. I think eyes are going to be honest now.
Yeah. Which I was going to mention. I'm wondering, one of us has to grab Rupert's piece of the statue. Is that going to count as a double condition against each of us?
I don't know. We've already grabbed it.
We?
Yeah, we took his trunk. Remember, because we had to gather all the pieces for Fenelic, the fight for Fenelic against Fenelic in the lounge.
We grabbed his trunk. Did we actually grab the piece?
We did not grab the actual piece. No.
Well, maybe we can. Yeah. Then okay. Then let's just keep it in the trunk until we need the.
Makes sense. All of this luggage. It's not you that can physically carry all of these things. Obviously, you all have trunks, probably multiple things with all of your clothes and all of your possessions. You've got porters that are moving it all for you. I mean, you can stay right there with it, but there's actually no way that you could keep track of all of it. You got to just hope that the train personnel know what they do. And so far on this trip, the Wagon Lee company that runs the train has been absolutely fantastic as far as getting your stuff where it's supposed to go. But as you exit the train, what you're met with is the Turkish customs, and they try to keep everything organized, but it is pandemonium. The British, the Americans are very much used to the idea of lining up. A lot of other countries, they don't know what that means, and they just shove their way forward. They want to be in first. It becomes very uncomfortable. It's a constant shoulder to shoulder pushing and bustling and all of this. And by the time you make your way all the way up to the customs people, half your luggage is gone.
The pieces, you mean?
Some of them. Some of your trunks are missing.
Oh my God! I'm angry. Well, I'm not angry. Well, I mean, I am angry. I'm both angry and I'm scared. What pieces are missing? Like when we go through, what are the actual pieces missing?
Well, it looks like Rupert's trunk is missing, and Dr. Elizabeth's trunk is missing, along with a lot of your guys' luggage. All of you are missing at least something, and you can see that other people in the crowd are also complaining because things are disappearing and they don't know where they're going, and it's a, for lack of a better word, it's a big clusterfuck. There are officials behind counters that want to inspect what you've got, want to see inside your luggage. They want to riffle through your underwear.
Well, I will approach an official at a counter.
Yes.
And say, I expect you'd like to inspect my my luggage.
Yes, please put it here, and we'll go through it.
Absolutely. If you just dispatch someone to find it, you're welcome to inspect it at your leisure.
You've lost something?
It appears to have disappeared while I've been waiting in this queue.
Well, that's quite distressing. What luggage? What is it that you're missing?
It's a large trunk. Well, actually, it's my trunk, and it's my traveling companion, I'm afraid, passed away on the trip.
Oh, that's
also
very
missing his
unfortunate.
trunk as well.
So you're missing two trunks?
Yes.
And he takes down your personal information. He says, "Well, we'll do what we can. Where will you be staying?"
I will give him the address of my hotel.
Okay. We will do our best to get it to you as soon as possible. We're sorry for any inconvenience.
It seems a great many people here have lost luggage as well. What's going on
Yes,
here?
we do this every day. It's fairly common. Now, this guy's just an official. Standing next to you, moving stuff, is one of the Orient Express porters, and he says to you, "Excuse me, madam, did you say that you've lost something?"
Yes, I've lost 2 steamer trunks.
Oh dear, that is not acceptable. We will do our best to find that right now. If you would mind, and he also takes your information. He says, this never happens. Very rarely happens to us. Please, if you will stand over to the side there, we will do our best to immediately find your luggage.
Thank you very much. I shall smile at him and cast a wry look at the other official.
So you're all missing stuff. You end up over to the side. You've got most of your luggage with you. People keep coming up and wanting to load it onto a car or something. However, more, I guess not. I just said that there's not really traffic.
No. Imshi.
And anyways,
Whatever that means, I've no idea what that means.
you guys are
Something
hot.
very rude.
You guys are hot and sweaty, despite the fact that it's winter. It's uncomfortable. It's sweaty. It smells of human beings, lots and lots and lots of them. And after two hours of waiting, you suddenly the crowd sort of parts, and a number of Orient Express employees come forward, and they have all of your luggage. They've recovered everything. Of course, we're just talking luggage. They didn't go through it and check the inventory, but they have discovered all of your things. It simply got misplaced. They're very, very apologetic that anything like this has happened, and they hope that you enjoy your stay in Constantinople despite all of these things. They've immediately got I don't know, the equivalent like of rickshaws where they can put all of your stuff in it, because you're going to have to cross the bridge into Pera to get to the Pera Palace. And they've confirmed that your reservations are there and that everything is going to be taken care of. And you're at your wit's end. Could make you do a sanity check on this one, but I think you're okay. So shortly after that, you're finally loaded up, and you begin the trip across the bridge. However, it's slow. There is a lot of foot traffic and these kind of vehicle traffic is going across that bridge, and it's like a traffic jam. So it takes a while. It takes another whole hour just to cross that bridge and get there. But you finally arrive at the Pera Hotel, the Pera Palace Hotel. And it is well worth the horrors that you faced in this day. Beautiful, magnificent, staffed mostly by French and British, but there's also, Turkish people in full regalia. Everything is absolutely beautiful, and you are given your your keys to your rooms, and you are shown upstairs, and you finally have arrived.
We check our luggage.
You check your
Usually done
luggage.
that at the station booth.
You check your luggage, and where did I start at? Aside from a few trinkets, everything's there. And you may have misplaced those somewhere along the lines yourself. It's now about 4:30. And you're exhausted.
I just want to lay down and put one of those hot towels on my face.
Oh, yes. When you arrived, I should have gone through that all. When you arrive, they greet you at the door. And they greet you at the door with a little tray with hot towels to wipe the sweat off your face, with little glasses of probably some strong alcoholic drink, a little sweet. You're treated like royalty. You can tell that the Orient Express staff, the Wagon Lee company it's the same sort of quality. So with that, 4:30 in the afternoon, you are up in your rooms. What would you like to do next?
Well, I think I'll start with a little afternoon tea. Just some sandwiches and tiny sandwiches,
Mm-hmm.
and some tea. And collect myself, I think.
All right.
Let's have a look out the window.
The view from the window is spectacular. You're looking out over Constantinople. You can see churches and mosques. Well, they're all mosques. Were churches, some of them. You can see Hagia Sophia off in the distance. You can see, of course, the Golden Horn between you and the big city, because you're looking out across.
Mm-hmm.
It's phenomenal.
Do I have Rupert's? Take it. I've got Rupert's steamer trunk in my room as well.
Yes.
Okay. It appears I've just inherited the leg.
Well, let's do something while you're here. Who has the head? That's you, Dr. Elizabeth, yes? No,
No.
Dawkins. Dawkins recovered the head. Dr. Dawkins, roll an intelligence roll.
Nope. I got an 86 out of 80.
Okay. You are starting to experience a very uncomfortable headache. Okay. Who has the torso? You also have the torso? Do a constitution roll.
Boy. And this is where I died, right? I got an 04.
Okay. So you're feeling okay. A little bit of a cough, but nothing big. Who has the left arm?
Okay.
I believe I can roll.
Dexterity roll.
Okay. And that's a pass.
Okay. Feel a little achy in your left arm, but that's about it. Who has the right arm?
I have the right arm.
Strength roll.
Oh, it would have to be strength, wouldn't it? 24. Oh, 24 out of 45.
Okay. You got a little bit of a shake in your arm, more than usual, but not really bad. How's the left leg?
That would be me.
Go ahead and do a Constitution roll.
Con. 22 out of 70.
Very good. It aches a little, but it doesn't. It's not bad. And finally, the right leg.
The right leg is in the trunk before me.
Okay. Well, at some point, didn't you all take these pieces out and lay them on the bed?
Yes, we did.
That's right.
To decide who
Not
touched
Not
the
it.
left. You did?
No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
not it. Not it.
Well, the only fair way to do it is roll a 1d4. And see who
there's
gets it.
4 of you, and you're laid out. Thomas, Jeff, Mick, Wayne. Thomas, Mick's the one who got it.
Okay.
So you're
That's good.
do
Because
a
I've already
dex.
written that down on my camera, my character sheet anyway.
Do a dex roll.
Oh no, not Dex. That's my lowest characteristic.
Let Dr. Dawkins do it.
Oh, 24 again. 24
Okay.
out of 40.
Nice.
It feels sore. Maybe you've been sitting on it all day, so it feels sore, but it's not terrible. Now we're going to do that every 20
Dice are
minutes
just gonna
for
throw
the rest of this game.
24s all day.
No. All right. So it's about 5 o'clock before you've all gotten back together again, if that's what you're going to do. And what would you like to do?
Well, I think we should establish some kind of precautions for securing the pieces of the simulacrum, because I think that they're probably at a greater threat now, or under a greater threat now, than they have been at any other point during our travels. Not only are we now in Constantinople, but also Benedict claimed that he was protecting us from the cult.
And you almost lost some of them today already.
Yes.
Didn't
Problem
we do...
is that if the cult is centered on Constantinople, then there's every chance that they've infiltrated everything here. I mean, they've been here for hundreds of years.
Mhm. Do we trust the hotel security?
That's the question, isn't
We
it?
trust no one. We trust no one.
We absolutely do not trust the hotel security. We are in their home. The skinless cult is all around us.
But you also realize that the skinless cult has been reckless. I mean, we've been cautious. I say that we remain cautious. If we're going to do some research to find the scrolls and find the mosque, to, I guess, do it in a way where it doesn't draw attention. Perhaps if we're looking for, it's in the library at the university, we maybe touch on other events in and around the time of where we think these scrolls were actually that way we're not saying, oh, we're looking for this in this particular area. We can talk about other parts of the world during that time of history.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have the credentials of being, or at least I do, and Elizabeth does as well. But I think, I mean, it's what, like 5 p.m.?
Yeah, probably a little later now.
Yeah, the university will be closed. I say that we get a bit of rest. We secure our belongings, we get a little rest, and we start early in the morning.
I kind of like that idea.
to me. It's been a very trying time. Rest would be a good idea.
Long trip. Yeah.
All right.
Might even recover some hit points.
That would be nice.
I will let you tonight roll 1d4. Because of this luxuriousness, the beds are soft. The bathrooms are well appointed. The showers are hot water, good hot water. The food is excellent. And we'll move ahead. But tonight, you all have a dream. And it's very strange. It's a very strange dream. Perhaps it's because of the opulence and beauty around you in this hotel, somehow sort of canceling out the negativity that you've been experiencing for so long. But you see yourself standing in a very beautiful, luxurious, arabesque area. You're not sure exactly where it is, but it seems just vaguely familiar. And there's an archway and another archway and a doorway way off in the distance ahead of you. And there's somebody standing there in the shadows, and you can't see who it is. You can't see any features. But he seems to be making some sort of motion with his hand, and you're not really sure whether he's beckoning you or telling you to go away. But you can roll a 1d6, and if you get 1 to 3, it looks really like he's beckoning you. And if you get 4 to 6, it looks like he's telling you to go away.
Oh, 1, he's definitely beckoning.
3.
I got a 1 as well.
Absolutely a beckoning method.
And that's all there is to that dream. It's very strange. But you've gotten to the point where dreams maybe have some meaning to you. And you wake up in the morning.
I was going to ask, does the area that we were standing in see each other? It remind us of the deck on the
Maybe, yeah. Because that was very much like a palace. That's very much like the architecture that you would encounter here somewhere in Constantinople. Intricate and geometrical. Sorry, go ahead.
Just to clarify, did we all get beckoning? I think we did.
Yeah, we did.
I think yeah.
It's got to mean something.
Is it possible for me to do a dreaming or a dream lore and try and glean something else?
Yeah, go ahead and do a dream lore.
All right. Well, that's the good one. 30. All right. Nope. That was a 78.
Yeah, you don't have any idea what it means.
All right. Well, I tried.
I got a 21.
There was something that seemed somewhat familiar about the shape of this person, but you don't know what. Like, maybe you've seen this person before.
Ooh. I've just suddenly thought of something we haven't done. Now that we've arrived at the hotel.
Telegram.
Well, it's morning.
Well, even better then. Could I have a look at the English newspapers?
Sure.
Or the local English language newspapers? Just to get a general feel of what's going on in the city at the moment.
Sure. Well, let me read this to you. This is about the events in Constantinople in 1923. In early 1923, Constantinople is still occupied by British, French, and Italian troops. Anti-British feelings run high during this time, with numerous newspapers reports of tensions between the occupation force and the locals. Turkish police are reported to be abusive towards British nationals, and nationalists order the proprietors of music halls not to reserve boxes for British persons. More seriously, British soldiers have been shot and killed on several occasions. Rumors of a nationalist uprising persist at this time. What time is it, by the way? Do we remember what our date is? Have we lost track of that somewhere?
I got blurry, but the best I could guess is that it's either, well, we just slept last night, so it's probably either Thursday or Friday, the 21st or the 22nd
of February.
February.
Yeah, I had Thursday the 21st, so I think this is Friday the 22nd.
Okay.
That's what we're on then.
Then that's as far as we'll go on that, because the rest of it has to do with March. Go ahead and do a spot hidden. Dr. Elizabeth.
93. No.
Okay. So that's all that you read. That's interesting. This is various articles add up to more or less that. Anybody else?
You want to check our Telegram, see if we got a message?
Yes, I was hoping someone would say that.
I'm going to pick up the Times and have a look at the cricket results. I don't know the first thing about cricket, but I just
for Rupert's sake,
Rupert would have appreciated it.
Why don't the three of you, the other three of you, do a spot hidden?
Okay. That is a pass.
What did you get?
I got a 30 out of 65.
Dr. Dawkins, what did you get?
10.
Frank, did you make it or pass?
60, 65.
Okay. So Dr. Dawkins, as Elizabeth is thumbing through the paper, you see something, an article on a back page as she's flipping, that you guys have gotten used to these things now. Your eyes fix on certain ideas and things that show up in newspapers, because this has been things that have happened to you all along on your trip. And what you see is this. Oops, lost the button. There it is.
All right. I don't know how well my sound is, but I will try to read this. So what I'll do is, as flipping through the pages, I will then this particular section, and I will apologize.
No, you help it. I don't understand a word of this. It's all about cricket in Australia for some reason. I guess it
All
must
right,
be
so I'm
their
reading.
season.
Missing children. Police suspect slavers questioning of Greeks. Today, the 15th missing child was reported from the city area. Now, a male, age 7, was taken from the front of his father's tea house in Istanbul yesterday at midday, in the midst of the bustling lunchtime traffic out there. Police have no immediate suspects, but believe that the slave ring is responsible. Of the city are alerted to watch their children carefully. Suspects, the police are interviewing many Greeks following a report that this country be the receiver of these stolen infants. And I'll put the paper down and I'll apologize again to Elizabeth.
No, it's all right. I've
For
finished.
some reason that just caught my eye. So I'll sit back, and I'll ponder over what I just read, and I'll ask the question more to myself, but it's just out loud. Why children?
Didn't the ritual call for the sacrifice of a child?
Blatek Mayval. I know we're in a different country.
But that doesn't sound like a name.
It's Turkish.
Okay.
But you're right. It sounds like a name brand of something.
Well, I think we came across that once before, where we were faced. What's it called? A anagram?
Yeah.
Anagram? An acronym?
Anagram. It seems like an anagram. I just don't know.
Yeah, I guess being in a different country.
Casting my mind, oh no, it's slightly different though. Casting my mind back to the, I imagine the Diaboli. Is it Diaboli or Diabolo? Diaboli.
Diablo.
Diabolo.
L'Immagine de Diabolo.
Diabolo. Okay. In that, as far as I remember it, there are 2 places particularly mentioned. Other than there's a ruined church, which I think is no, there's the Church of St. Machias, which is where the thing was found in the statue of the Fedora. But there's also there's the Red Tower as well, isn't there?
Oh yeah.
But that wasn't a church or anything. That was just a tower, wasn't it?
I mean, it could have been a church, right? Because don't they have, what are they called, minuets?
That was before, wasn't it? That's the.
Don't the mosques?
Yeah, but if there was a tower there, they might have built. But minuets are quite.
It was still the Constantinople in 1204 would have still been very Christian. I don't think there would have been any mosques.
And the tower sounded like it was too broad to be turned into a minaret. Not a minuet. That's a dance.
Minaret, yeah.
Mind you, when we cross over into the city itself, we should. We know from the book roughly whereabouts the red tower was. We could see if we can still see it. I mean, if it's still standing, that could be. If it's still standing, that's bound to be something to do with their cult, isn't it? Might be some sort of. Mind you, they were probably after what happened with all the bodies and bits and pieces. They would probably have pulled it down or something. So it's unlikely to be there 700 odd years later.
I think it's a Dunkin' Donuts now.
Bit of a stretch. Yes, it's a strip mall.
Yeah. Pizza place, laundromat.
It's a falafel shop.
But it's a good idea. I like your thinking.
Okay, so it is morning. What are your courses of action? What are you going to do?
Did we have a telegram?
Are you going to go all the way back to the train station?
Oh, I thought we could check from the hotel. No?
I think it has to be it's location based.
You know, it's a good question. But there's not there's no telegram. I think you might actually be able to retrieve it at the hotel, at the local telegraph. However, there is no message.
There's no. Okay. Smiley, where are you?
If he hasn't sent a message, maybe that means he's here.
Did that article in the paper? Did that say that it was one of a number of child abductions, or was it just an isolated child abduction?
Today was the 15th missing child.
15th.
That's correct.
Greece. What was one of our flashbacks talking about something in Greece?
I don't know. The Greeks and the Turks by this time have been at odds with one another for hundreds of years. They all hate each other. The Greeks hate the Turks hate the Greeks. The Turks occupied Greece and enslaved them for 400 years, and I mean it's they hate each other. So, not necessarily are the Greeks more degenerate than the Turks. It's just that that's the way the Turks are going to treat them. It's the same idea as what you got when you were in the Serbo-Croatia with the Serbs and the Croats hating each other.
So, in terms of research, what are we going to do first? Are we going to look for the scrolls, or try and find out more about this mosque?
Yes.
Well, we can do both. I mean, if we're looking for the mosque, we can study several maps from that time period and see how they progress through the ages up into present day. That way we can try to pinpoint certain landmarks and get a feel for.
Yeah, a lot of times there's a directory of churches in a lot of the major cities. Maybe there's something like that from us.
If I was wondering if we could find something like that, like a directory of mosques, and then cross-reference that with some sort of more sort of tourist guide sort of thing, and then we could immediately, anything that's listed in the tourist guide, any of the mosques that are listed in the tourist guide, we can immediately cross off the list, because if they're in a tourist guide, then clearly they're not being shunned, are they? Unless there's one listed in the tourist guide that's just called the Shunned Mosque, in which case we know we've definitely found it. Unless there are three called the Shunned Mosque, in which case we're back to square one. But...
we just have to be careful. We don't want to draw attention to ourselves.
Are we going to be faced with a language barrier here?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Turks.
Translator?
Some Turks may know Russian, but that's stretching it.
For the purposes of for the duration of our stay in Constantinople, when asked, I will be claiming to be an American.
Yeah.
I'm going to practice my American accent as well. And so
I shall be calling everyone buddy.
Actually, the term that was due. It's catching traction.
It sounds like me.
Good evening.
I'm try to speak from my gut, like most of them.
So instead of just talking about it, do something.
Okay, well, where should we go first? University, museum, or we could look for antiquities dealers in the bazaar. And what are we going to do to secure the stuff before we leave?
Yeah, we didn't answer that.
Dr. Elizabeth, go ahead and do an ID roll.
23 out of 80.
You're staying in one of the finest hotels in this country, and it's staffed by extremely helpful people. They can answer all sorts of questions for you.
I shall then visit the concierge and inquire about the usage of their safe or vault.
Oui, madame. We have a vault. If you have valuables, we can put them there and keep them for you.
We have a number of antiquities. My companions and I are academics. We have a number of rather valuable antiquities we need to store. Would that be acceptable? Do you have space for those?
Of course. Please, fill out this paperwork, and if you'd like, we can send up people to collect whatever it is you need.
We shall bring them down on our way out.
Of course.
And also, I know this is a rather odd inquiry, but we've found mentions of a rather obscure mosque, which is which we're trying to locate for sundry purposes of little interest. But unfortunately, it's referred to in the text by the rather florid name of the Shunned Mosque. Does that ring a bell with you?
To me, no. I believe that there may be a historic directory available at the library.
Is that the university library?
Yes, but I believe that from what I understand, it's perhaps a bit dated, maybe 20 years, 30 years ago that it was compiled.
Oh, well, that's yes. Well, I mean, it's an older building, so it should be that should be no problem.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, we'll just go and rustle up our bits and pieces for the vault.
Before you go, madam, do members of your party speak Turkish?
I don't think that any of us do.
Well, you may find that the literacy level of the average person living here is extremely low, and you would find probably if you need a translator, the best place would be the bazaar. Find a scribe who reads and writes and speaks Turkish and English.
Ah, sounds like a very good idea. Are there any particular scribes that the hotel endorses?
Everybody in the village in the city uses scribes. There are hundreds of them.
I see. Very well. Well, that might need to be our first port of call then, really.
Would there be anything else?
No, that's everything. Thank you very much for your help.
I'll have them prepare some space inside the vault.
Marvelous.
And
splendid and tremendous. Now then.
So you go back up to your room. What have the rest of you thought about security? That's what you said you were going to talk about. You don't know about the vault yet.
I think I know that we talked about going to one time we talked about going to a bank and locking it up in there, but I don't think that's viable because we wouldn't have direct access to it during the night. We can't take them with us.
No.
No, that's just asking to be ambushed.
Well,
oh, sorry, I'm not
impossible.
Here. I'm on my way back.
You don't have enough people to carry all the trunks that you would be carrying.
Well, I'm just talking about the piece, the actual physical piece, and that's why it'd be easy to ambush because we'd just be holding this arm.
Taxi.
Banging on the runner's head and be like, let us into your cart, and then
yes, taxi.
So we can't do that. Does anyone have any ideas? I'm more caught up on trying to figure out the dreams we had last night. We were in some sort of. I was in some sort of palace.
Did we have the same dream?
Yes.
Maybe our dreams are pulling us towards the Sultan's palace. So copy.
What was unusual about the shape of that person? That's an odd description.
Long arms, dog face.
No, there wasn't anything abnormal. Just something familiar. And it gnaws at you, but you can't reach it.
Wait a minute. Rupert was in the Dreamlands with us.
Was it him?
There's a possibility that he died and he went to the Dreamlands, which means that he's not dead. I mean, he is dead, but he's not dead.
Yeah. You think that was him beckoning us?
Maybe. Maybe he's trying to help from beyond.
It's a hopeful thought.
It's the first hopeful thought we've had in a little while.
Whoever has psychology, do a psychology roll. If you've got like at least 30% psychology, do a psychology roll.
I think I actually had that, yeah. I have 30.
I have got that, but I'm not back yet.
I got a 56. Is it possible for me to spend luck points if anybody else did? Jeff, did you fail?
I passed.
Oh, you passed. Okay, well then I'm fine.
It occurs to you, Frank, that it's possible that given vague information, which is what your dream was, that you are now painting a picture over the top of it that could be completely wrong.
Yeah. But I'm willing to go with that.
Okay.
If you're willing to indulge my hopeful.
If it's a little bit of hope, I'm clinging on to it. Like
Rupert's helping us.
Yes.
All right. What next?
Where's Dr. Keith?
She's just, you can hear her coming up the hall.
God, she's got heavy feet.
I can hear her hobbling along. Has her ankle ever healed yet?
Well, walking on it doesn't help, but yeah, it's.
She's just
I
got
should have
heavy
written
feet.
who had what.
She's just got heavy feet, Frank. She's
Yeah, right, there you are. I've just had a word with the concierge.
oh, have you? You're looking great.
And they have a safe here. Also, their staff are almost exclusively French and English. A few locals, but you know, they're people who would have access to the safe rather high up the food chain. So I think they might be all right. Yeah, I mean, it's the best chance we've got. We can't cart them around with us, and it's certainly better than leaving them in the hotel room. What say you, chaps?
I think we're forced to trust them.
Yeah, I agree.
Only other thing I can think is that maybe we split them up and we maybe stop. I don't know how safes work in other hotels. Do you have to be a...
They don't have rooms of safes. They do have like safety deposit boxes, but you're talking about trunks.
Yeah. Yeah, I say we just go with it.
All right.
Also, we were advised to hire a scribe in the bazaar, so that we'd have someone who'd be able to speak and read Turkish.
It's a good idea.
Well, if I remember correctly, if we do find the scrolls met. So if we do hire a translator, we're not going to hire them to search for the scrolls or whatever other thing we're looking for.
I just thought it might be helpful if we had someone who could speak the local language.
Bringing in someone that we know nothing about. I mean, is with it. I'll go along with it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, we just need to be cautious, I think.
Okay.
I mean, the odds that we're in a huge city and we just happen to pick the one scribe that is a member of the Shanda Mosque, then we just have bad luck.
Yeah.
Well, at least there's nowhere to find it.
Yeah, that's true. Or he's seeking us out deliberately. So maybe we don't let, because I've read about the Great Bazaar, and they're loud, and they're going to grab at you, and they're going to try and get you, make them appeal to you, and they're going to make you try and purchase them or purchase their service or purchase their wares, and we just
grab at me. They're going to lose a finger.
They're going to point, and they're going to talk to you, and they're going to try and guide you into them. But we just have to stay as a group. You can also get lost in the Grand Bazaar. There's alleyways, and there's nooks and crannies. We need to, and it's going to be incredibly busy. It's going to be packed. We need to stay together.
Okay.
Should we get separated, we'll meet at the university next.
And what happens if we all don't show up at the university?
Then we're all
Well,
lost.
let's cross that bridge when we come to it.
All right. All right.
Yep.
So you're going to the bazaar first?
The bazaar.
Okay. How are you going to get there?
Let me, Jeff. I know you took a picture of the map. I'm gonna also put mine. We're across the river.
Correct. It would be about 3 miles.
3 miles. It's
You'd
an
have,
hour walk.
you're going to walk about a mile to get to the river. You're going to cross the bridge, and then you're going to walk a ways, maybe 2.5 miles.
Well, if the other 3 gentlemen each carry me for a mile each, then
What's your size again, Dr. Elizabeth?
60.
I'll let these two carry. I'll let
I
those two
think-
carry.
Well,
Drake
you could
is
also
the
try to
strongest
find.
among us all.
You could also try to find a cart, like you had yesterday.
It's only an hour walk. You just-
I will say that
I
if we
can't.
while we're discussing getting there, I want to take a few moments to quickly go over the journal, the image of the devil, and just sort of mark off, I guess, locations or whatever that were in the book, and I'm going to be actively sort of looking at something that might.
Well, there's nothing in particular that gives you the location of anything.
But I mean, I'm
It
just
gives you
saying, like
general-
scenery or whatever.
Well, it does say that the Red Tower was near the Golden Horn, and that's the part of the bay that you're crossing on the bridge going to Istanbul. But you're still talking about it's all coastline. The whole city is coastline.
Okay.
So it doesn't give you too much help.
All right. Well, notes with me, just in case. But and take weapons with you, something that you can conceal.
Yeah, I think I'll have my pistol on me.
Okay. I assume you're all armed.
100%.
Armed, but not with the statue.
Boom.
Hey, Eldridge, you mentioned the Black Mosque. I only remember the word shunned mosque. Is that?
I remember that at some point we had read something, or we had heard someone say the Black Mosque and then the Shunned Mosque.
Because I just noticed on the map that other one is called the Blue Mosque. So I wonder if there's some sort of a color.
Blue is intrinsically good and black is intrinsically bad, so.
Necessarily.
The Blue Mosque.
Are
The Blue Mosque is a very famous mosque, created by one of the sultans. It's extremely beautiful and elaborate. It's become famous. That's why it actually has a name like that.
Oh,
It's very large.
What the heck, yes, Sophia?
Yeah, Hagia Sophia is even larger, but that was originally a Christian church that was converted to be a mosque. The Blue Mosque was actually built
That's a mosque.
almost in exactly the same style, the Byzantine style, but yeah, it was built to be a mosque.
Okay, so Bazaar, and we're getting a cart for Dr. Keith.
Sure.
Okay. Pull her along in a wagon behind you.
A little red wagon.
Whee!
Everybody move. All right. The morning sunlight is fairly warm. It's chilly in the air because it's winter. You managed the hotel staff manages to get you some transportation. You guys don't have to walk. However, you're not going to be able to go all the way to the bazaar that way, because once you get close to the bazaar, the foot traffic is beyond imagining. So at that point, you're going to have to get out and walk around. But you get close to you get on the outskirts of the Grand Bazaar, and the carts won't go any further. It's taken you only about 30 minutes to get there because there is a lot of traffic, and the bridge always takes the longest to get across. So you are now on the edge of the Grand Bazaar, and it is just as crowded and noisy, and people are selling everything you could possibly imagine. Everything is available somewhere here at the bazaar.
Right. What do scribes look like then? How do we find them?
Robes.
Everybody's got robes.
By
the way, you also see a lot of people wearing fezzes.
Yeah, I think there's probably quite a lot, aren't there?
Yeah.
Isn't it that it's a symbol of Turkish nationalist sentiment we're in the rise of Ataturk now.
I believe so. Yeah.
So there are a great many people wearing fezzes.
All right. Well, I guess the best way to find a scribe is to just ask, "Can you speak English?"
Okay.
Yes. Ask men holding quills if they can speak English.
More times than not, you get people who don't speak English. It actually takes you quite a while. You're looking through. You're getting accosted by people who want to show you their carpets or their furniture or their spices or their whatever that they want to see.
No, I don't want to see that kind of postcards. Go away.
I would like
Want to more garlic?
Well, there's plenty of that there. I mean, you can get anything you want.
I think I still smell quite strongly of garlic, despite the bath I had last night.
I would like, first of all, I'd like you to all do luck rolls.
I have spent a lot of my luck.
As have I, Dr. Keith.
I'm now 48, so I'm edging towards bad luck.
Okay.
Oh, 41. That's a pass.
That was a pass at a 26.
It's a fail on my end.
Okay. If you passed, do a spot hidden.
Okay. That is a fail.
47. Could I spend 2 luck?
Sure.
I must spend two more luck in order to just pass it.
All right. As you're in the crowd, you're being jostled, you're being moved around. Dr. Elizabeth, you look over and you notice at least 4 rather brutish looking Turks heading in your direction as if they're sort of following you.
You don't look like scribes.
They're pushing their way through the crowd and heading right towards you. And they look, they don't look pleasant. They have looks on their faces of either anger or you can't read it. It's they look menacing.
Sure, gentlemen. I think we have company.
Tom, I'm gonna look and I'm gonna see if there is an alley in the tents, because I'm imagining, because like how the bazaar is laid out, there are buildings, but then there's like tents and stuff like that. Are we in a building part, or are we in a tent part?
There are booths on the left and right of you. The bazaar goes in the other direction, side to side, and there's no where you are. There's no way out. You know, you're in a long, straight area. There's just that way and this way, but there's hundreds and hundreds of people here, and these guys are pushing people out of the way, and they're getting closer.
Okay, I'm gonna slip on.
They will reach you in approximately 10 seconds.
I put on my brass knuckles. I'm ready for a fight. Let's do this. They're going to attack us, and people are going to jump on them. Let's go.
Could we not just nip into one of the shops?
It's you're stranded where you are. There's just, you can try to shove through other people, but
right, okay.
I mean that's everybody else is shoving.
I'm going to fasten my hand around my my kosh. My lady's life preserver.
Okay.
Can I scan the crowd for any authorities?
You don't even know what to look for.
Police don't wear uniforms?
Don't they wear blue fezzes?
You might not know what their uniforms look like. So.
Do these guys look like there's some sort of authority? Maybe
no.
The sort of okay.
No.
So
and they don't look. They're not pleasant looking. They're kind of ugly, you know, brutish people coming at you. What was your question, Wayne?
I was going to ask, what sort of clothing are they wearing? Are they wearing something that's
different things? Same as all the locals are wearing. The only thing that stands out about them is the fact that they're shoving their way through the crowd and heading right at you. So they are now pushing the last few people out of the way, and they are literally right in front of you. At least one of them is. The other ones are right next to and behind. What do you do? They haven't stopped. They're coming. It's just they're within an arm's reach of you at this point.
I guess I'm standing there and I look up. I'm just looking at him with this look, with my hand in my coat with my brass knuckles ready to swing.
Yeah, I mean we can't be proactive, can we? Because if there's such an anti-Westerner sentiment at the moment, we can defend ourselves, but if we make a preemptive strike, we risk getting arrested for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
I've got my hand on my kosh, though. I'm ready to go.
Who is closest to the lead Turk? Is that Eldridge?
It is well be me. I think I have the highest brawl.
Okay. There is a moment of extreme tension as this Turk sort of leans into you, glaring at your face, but his hand comes up and he just shoves you out of the way as he makes his way past you. And it's in that moment you realize they weren't coming at you, they were going to somebody over here. And as they push through the last few people, there's a booth there, and you can see a young man dressed in a kind of a black robe with a little hat on his head, and they go up to him, and he sort of cowers back, and they look like they're going to beat the shit out of him. He's way smaller than they are. He looks like he's probably 21 years old and rather slight.
I look to the group and I say that we can't just let that happen.
Yeah, we perhaps if we would, I don't know what we could really do. Perhaps if we were just sort of standing there as witnesses, maybe the fact that we're
There's 100 witnesses. There's people everywhere.
Oh yeah. I was thinking, wealthy foreign. Mind you, lots of other people there are probably wealthy foreign witnesses as well. So
the lead guy grabs this guy, like this, and starts yelling something at him in Turkish, and the other ones kind of surround him, and they get ready to pummel him. And you can see he's saying something back to them in Turkish.
I'm
looks like
right. I'm an unarmed woman. I'm going to go and intervene. They're not going to attack a woman.
I follow Dr. Keith.
Why not?
All right. So what are you exactly going to do, Dr. Keith?
I'm just going to put my hands up and just start saying, "Come on, what are you doing? You can't do this here. You can't do this here," and just sort of just trying to generally make a scene to sort of embarrass them into sort of not doing anything, which I don't think is going to work. But
well,
I'll try.
One of the guys who's with the lead guy, he gives you a very strange look, like, "Who the hell are you?" And then he just as the lead guy boxes the kid once and knocks him on the ground, his friend sort of grabs a hold of his shoulder and their gestures aren't going to be exactly the same, but he sort of points at you, and the guys kind of look a little embarrassed at first, but they scream something at the guy on the ground and they point at him, and they turn around and push their way back through the crowd, leaving.
Leave them alone, you big bullies.
And the kid is lying on the ground, and he's now starting to get up, and he's starting to dust himself off. And what do you guys do?
I guess I approach as Dr. Keith is screaming at these people for being bullies. And I ask first in English and then second in Russian, because those are like the only two that are German. But I say in English and then Russian, "Are you okay?"
I said, "Sir, quite, sir. Thank you. Please don't concern yourself about this." And he's definitely Turkish, but he's got a very clean British accent. He seems that his English is very good, and he's like,
right.
No need to concern yourself about me, please, sir. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's part of the job.
You speak English?
Yes, sir. I am a scribe.
You're a scribe?
Yes, my name is what's his name? Thea. Yes, there's gentlemen. It's nothing. They had me fill out the paperwork for something they wanted with the government, and the government refused them. And since they couldn't exactly take it out on the government, they decided that they would take out their anger on me. It's not the first time something like that has happened. Anyways, don't concern yourselves with it. Please enjoy our beautiful city.
Excuse me. What was your name again? It started with an F?
Feya. F-E-Y-A-R. Feya.
Feya. We're actually we're scholars here in Constantinople, and we're looking for a scribe. We don't speak the language.
Well, I am just so happens that I am no longer employed by those gentlemen. So if you need a scribe, I can help you, certainly. I speak 4 languages.
What languages?
I speak English, French, Turkish, and Arabic.
Oh. Those are definitely 4 to have.
Yes.
I wave over the others.
Can I just raise something sort of out of earshot of this chap?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he's not listening.
I know, like, we have a tendency to be overly speculative in this game, but is this not slightly suspicious that we're looking for a scribe, and then we suddenly have this event occurs that immediately brings us into contact with a scribe? I mean, this feels like a setup to me. I'm probably wrong. It's probably a complete red herring, but it just...
You think, Dr. Keith, that this was so elaborately planned that we would be here at this exact moment with those exact 4 would come over, grab that man, then you or one of us would intervene, and then we'd purchase his talents only for him to sell us out later?
Yes, and I'm surprised you're not.
I believe that we should be paranoid, but I really don't believe that the coincidences go that deep.
What is the secret? What is our secret
now
password?
that you put it like that.
The secret password.
Our secret password.
Meatball sub. It's a meatball subs. I'm still Eldridge. I'm just saying.
I wonder.
Every time you guys do that, I completely forgot. I'm like, password? What the fuck? Oh, shit, I don't remember the password.
Our secret password is friendship. No, it's meatball subs. I'm still Eldridge.
Shoot him now.
But what I'm saying here is that we could pass along him. It's fine. There's got to be 100 scribes here.
Well, look, I just think that, I mean, we do need a translator, but I agree with what was said. I agree with what Dr. Dawkins said.
Yes,
that
this is
we should be very, very
convenient.
cautious in what we ask the translator to translate. We shouldn't trust the translator.
Well, we shouldn't trust anyone.
By all means, hire a scribe, but we shouldn't trust the scribe, because literally everyone standing around us at this moment could be in some way connected with this cult. Anyone and everyone is potentially a cult member now. We're in Constantinople. This is their territory. We really are fish out of water here. We're sitting ducks.
Let me interject something, because I just want to make it clear. Everything in this town is in Turkish. All the signs, everything, the street signs, everything. Very little is in English. So
we need a translator. We can't get around having a translator.
Yeah, you need just to know the name of the street.
Yes.
Well,
I don't see that we've got any. I mean, even if we went off and found another scribe, we'd have exactly the same issue, that we could be dealing with someone who's a member of the cult, or could be the cult could just turn up later on and threaten his family or something if he doesn't tell them everything. So even if they're not a member of the cult, they could be blackmailed or coerced by the cult.
Oh, you're right.
We just have to be very, 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 very cautious in our dealings, because we're really in a very dangerous situation right now. Maybe we're not. I don't know, but I'm just perhaps.
You're right. You're both right. It may be Frank. Frank probably agrees with you.
No, yeah, I agree.
I
I just,
hasn't said anything.
I agree. I'm just concerned that his first resume piece that we've seen so far is him getting beat up by thugs because he screwed up. But
Well, he said he did his job all right. It's just that the government turned them down,
so he
or
says.
whatever it was. Well, yeah.
But yeah, we're being paranoid. We have to,
Yeah.
again, it's like the hotel. We have to trust somebody. So
Yes.
just everyone just be cautious what information you share. And Meatball sub and check to see if he's wearing two different color skins or hands.
Or a tattoo of a scourge.
I say, Feo, would you please take off all of your clothing?
We must inspect you.
Why is your left butt cheek a different color than your right butt cheek? So, what's your decision?
Your hide.
Very good, sir. What exactly do you need me to do?
That's a very good question.
Might I guess you need a translator?
Yes.
So he gives you a price that seems fair, not unreasonable. It's not overly expensive, and it's way cheaper than anybody that you've gotten to translate in other countries. Originally, at least for the past, I don't know, maybe 100 years or so, there have the Turkish pound and the English pound have been pretty much the same. But since World War I, the Turkish pound is like that. So why are you all giggling? What did I do?
No reason.
That is the Deutschmark.
I don't know. I don't know how to compare it. It just says in here that
Okay.
the Turkish pound is
Okay.
bad. So you're gonna pay a lot less here than you would anywhere else. All right, so you're gonna hire Fayer. So you got yourself a scribe. What would you like to do now? In the last 7 minutes of our session.
Well, I think. Should we head to the university, or is there something we could do here in the bazaar?
I said we head to the university.
Yeah.
Why
Okay.
those men were why were they harassing him? Or
Well, he explains to you further that they wanted a permit for something and that they were refused. And since, like he says, since they can't take out their anger on the government, they figured, they'd take it out on me. It's not fair. It's not right. It's just the way some people think. They seemed like thugs,
Yes, they certainly did.
Let's see. From where you are, you're at the Grand Bazaar, and you wanted to go to the university. The Imperial University is actually not very far. It's number 2. You can actually probably see it when you get over towards the north side of the bazaar. You can see the university buildings over.
Well, I mean, you can show us the way now. We don't have to.
Yes, of course. And
rely on him.
He says it's just a short walk. Couple of blocks. It's half a mile. And he asks you questions, where are you from? How, what made you decide to come to Constantinople? What are you hoping to see while you're here? He mentions all of the sites, the the mosques, the big mosques, the Topkapi Palace, the gardens, the statues, and so he's got a long list of things if you want to.
Oh yes, yes. I'll wholeheartedly engage him on such matters. And as we're passing buildings, I'll be asking him what places are, and if he knows anything about the history of various buildings. Because oh, pardon me, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to convince him that we are just run-of-the-mill tourists.
Okay. Well, and that's he knows a bit. He does. He's not a tourist. What do you want to say? Like a tourist guide, but he knows. This is his city, so he knows the big things. He knows what the Blue Mosque is, and don't ask me directly because I could, if I had my iPad, I would say, oh, the Blue Mosque was built by. You can look that up yourself. It's a real place. So you arrive at the university. And why did you want to go to the university?
We'd like to visit the library.
Ah, it's a beautiful library. It was built by and you know. So you end up at the library. Okay, you are now at the library. What would you like to look up?
Oh, that's a good point.
Let's keep track of our time. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning.
Well, let's start with maps of here, and we'll start marking. We'll start taking notes as if we're doing research on that sort of thing.
Yes, I'd like to find a gazetteer, a guide to the mosques of Istanbul.
Okay. There is a directory that was put together in 1910. Not that old. It does have a rather large fold-out map in the center of the book, and it lists over 400 mosques in Constantinople.
Wow.
Right. In which case, I'd also like to find, as I discussed before, a very pardon me, a very mainstream tourist guide.
Yeah, okay, there's something like that.
And I'll just make a list and start cross-referencing, and basically all of the mosques that are named in the tourist guide, I will discount.
The only ones that are named in the tourist guide are maybe 5 or 6 significant ones in the city.
Oh dear.
And they all have Turkish names. Well, obviously Hagia Sophia, which was a church, is now a mosque. That's listed. The Blue Mosque is listed, and there may be a few others, but just a handful. Other than that, you've seen one mosque, you've seen them all.
Are there any? Is there perhaps a section? It's a stretch, I know, but is there perhaps a section in the guide that's dedicated to ruins or derelict mosques or mosques that have been consecrated, or whatever the Islamic equivalent of
they're just too common, and there are, of course, very famous things in this city that are, on the list. There's the Hippodrome and the palaces and things like that, but it's
okay.
It's
well, I'll start then by focusing. If I'm going to have to run down on it, it's going to take a long time, I imagine. But I'll start with mosques that are on the Golden Horn side of the city, and I'll start in the north because I seem to recall in the book that the the Red Tower was in the north, and I'm wondering if the shunned mosque might be somewhere near the Red Tower. Because that's where they were based in that, wasn't it?
Well, once again, they all have Arab names. They've got Turkish names.
Okay, well, I'll have to work with the scribe, I guess.
Well, you're going to have him read down the list. That's probably going to take an hour.
Okay.
Unless
anyone else needs the scribe for something.
Anyways, he reads through the list. Nothing really sounds promising.
I wonder if there's any No, I've got something on the tip of my tongue. I had an idea and it just went.
Can we use the time or the date to do any sort of cross-reference?
Well, most of them have listings for dates. You got to give me some sort of idea of what you're looking for. And there's definitely dates listed on some of when they were built.
What's the oldest mosque?
The oldest mosque probably dates from somewhere around 1300.
Are there any mosques that are famous for having a red minaret? A very old red minaret?
There's not really any indication of anything like that.
It's a long shot, that one. What about folklore? Are there any books of local folklore?
I'm sure there are. Go ahead and do what are you looking for in the folklore?
Well, quite sort of folklore appertaining probably to murders and things, because there's I'm just wondering if there's anything about the events in the Immagini di Diavolo that might be recorded in folklore, particularly about this tower full of
go ahead and do a library use roll.
Body parts that might indicate might be some mention of the cult or something. 4, blimey.
4
out of 60.
Well, we'll leave you with this. You run across, you find a reference. You're looking through histories of the city and events and things. And of course, there's a large section on the sack of Constantinople in 1204. But there is also a slight reference to somebody named Sedevkar, who was he was a scholar of bad reputation, and he disappeared during the Fourth Crusade in 1204. That's all that it says.
All right.
And I think that's where we'll leave it off tonight with you guys at the library. A good place for Call of Cthulhu investigators to be. All right. Well, okay. Our players included Thomas McKeon, Mick Swan, Jeff Wilkins, and Wayne Worthy, with myself as Keeper of the Secrets. We're currently producing 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our show free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. Patrons of our show can now enjoy recordings of our pre- and post-game conversations. Some of the funniest and most interesting stuff occurs before and after the show. If you'd like to become a patron, visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month will help us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We love hearing from you. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.